The train eased into the station at dusk and never opened, heads pressed to glass. The platform looked empty until shapes broke loose from the shadows, men with iron rods, women wailing, boys with kerosene tins. Someone inside shouted to bar the doors. A soldier tried to raise a rifle and had no room. In the next car, a newborn cried once and went quiet. Flames licked the wood and raced along the couplings. The smell of fuel swallowed the air. Passengers tore off window grates, pushed children through, and dropped them into a crush of hands that might save or might not. By the time the first volley cracked, the train was already a furnace, and the night took on the color of war. That night was only one among thousands in 1947. Partition arrived fast, with a map still wet with ink. After 2 centuries, the British were pulling out, and its plan divided the land into 2 new dominions, India and Pakistan. The idea had gathered force during the war's last years and the uneasy peace after. Many Muslims, fearing minority status, rallied behind the Muslim League and its call for Pakistan. Congress argued for a united India with safeguards, but distrust held. The Quit India years, wartime repression, and famine had all carved deep fault lines. When independence finally came into reach, the agreement that could be made was a division. The clock belonged to Lord Louis Mountbatten, the last viceroy. He came to Delhi in March 1947 with orders to leave quickly. Communal violence was already bleeding across cities and villages. Calcutta had exploded the year before on Direct Action Day, and revenge moved through Bengal's countryside and into Bihar. In Punjab, rival militias faced off. Mountbatten believed delay meant more killing. He accelerated the timetable and left the new states to police themselves. A British lawyer, Cyril Radcliffe, arrived to draw the boundaries. He had 5 weeks to split Punjab and Bengal along communal lines using census tables, district maps, and advice from civil servants. Villages that shared wells and weddings were split by a pencil stroke. Canals, railheads, and ferries were pushed to one side or the other, with no time to replace them. When Radcliffe finished, he sealed his awards and left India. The lines would be announced after the celebrations, as if pain could be staged. Independence came in a burst of light and sound. On the night of August 14th to 15th, 1947, Pakistan and India declared independence. Crowds erupted. In Karachi, Muhammad Ali Jinnah took the oath as Governor-General. In New Delhi, Jawaharlal Nehru spoke of a tryst with destiny. But the new lines, announced days later, fell like a blade. Across Punjab and Bengal, people woke on the wrong side. Sikhs and Hindus in West Pakistan loaded carts and trains for India, while Muslims in East Punjab and parts of Bengal went the other way. Police posts were thin. Local militias, criminal bands, and frightened neighbors collided along the roads. Trains earned grim names. Ghost trains, trains of death. They carried refugees one way and came back heavy with the dead. Columns walked for days, ox carts, soldiers on leave, elders on charpoys, men with swords at the edges. Rumors outran the people. A shout could start a stampede. A gunshot could split a column and scatter children. In East Bengal, families moved by night and covered their cooking fires with sand. In the West Punjab countryside, wells were poisoned, grain stacks fired, and caravans stripped. Some villages made pacts and kept them. Others broke in an hour. The numbers stagger under it. Up to 15 million people were uprooted in months, among the largest forced migrations in history. Estimates of the dead run from 200,000 to 1 million or more, because bodies were hidden, burned, or left where no one could count. The toll fell heaviest on the vulnerable. Women assaulted during raids or seized across the new border, children who vanished in crowds, and elders left when a column had to run. Temples, gurdwaras, and mosques became sanctuaries and targets at once. Some men fought to the death for a lane they would never see again at peace. Others hid strangers under floorboards and lied with straight faces to the searchers at the gate. Delhi became a pressure chamber of fear. The city filled with Hindu and Sikh refugees from the west, while Muslims inside Delhi faced attack and flight. Mahatma Gandhi walked, visited camps, and called for calm. He stayed in Muslim homes and went on a hunger strike to force protection for minorities. It worked briefly, then broke against the fury of the time. In January 1948, a Hindu extremist assassinated him at a prayer meeting in Delhi. The man who had tried to hold the center together fell, and the country grieved in a silence louder than any crowd. Bureaucracy ran alongside the chaos. Officials divided assets, cash balances, army units, rail wagons, rolling stock, even archives. Millions lined up for domicile certificates, passports, claims on abandoned houses. Caravans moved under armed escort, and special trains ran with guards in every carriage. In the princely states, rulers chose sides. Most acceded without incident. In Kashmir, a tribal invasion and a rushed accession ignited their first war. Frontiers that had been pencil lines became barbed wire and patrols. Families tried to carry the past across the present. A woman who once traded grain at a neighbor's door now stood behind barbed wire and watched her old lane through a gap in the posts. A man who had led prayers in a town now across a border slept on a school floor and rehearsed his children's names each morning. Letters moved through army posts and rail depots. One told of a mother who found 2 sons at a camp in Jalandhar after weeks of searching and then refused to leave the gate for a month in case a third arrived. By late autumn, the worst of the killing ebbed. Governments rebuilt police posts and patrols. Escorts shepherded columns over the borders. Relief agencies set up kitchens. The new states absorbed people in different ways. In Pakistan, Karachi and Lahore swelled with muhajirs who remade the city's languages and politics. In India, Delhi, Amritsar, and Calcutta became mosaics of displaced families. The losses did not shrink. They spread across new borders. For many, the past became a suitcase that stayed packed years after there was no longer a reason to move. Partition left an inheritance that still shapes the region. It rewired trade routes, canals, and river control. It set the stage for wars over Kashmir and over what the new nations should be. It trained police and politicians to view neighbors through the lens of the border. Yet it also created new lives out of wreckage. Shopkeepers who rebuilt in strange cities, students who crossed lines to finish degrees, children who grew up thinking of the border as a line on a map rather than a road of blood their parents had walked. None of that cancels the night the train did not open. Partition can be told through dates and documents. It is felt as rooms and roads. A platform where a woman breaks a bangle and ties it to her daughter's wrist, so the child will be recognized if they are separated. A farmhouse where a neighbor hides a neighbor in a grain bin and tells the searchers he saw them go the other way. A courtyard where a man grips the deeds to a house he will never see again. Inside those moments, the map is not a theory. It is a door that will not open and a fire that moves faster than words. Thank you for listening to Last Post History. Subscribe for more true stories from the world at war.